welcome back to the Moms That Read YouTube channel. I'm Kaylee, one third of the Moms That Read podcast. And I just finished the Elsieverse, so I thought I would come on here and I thought it would be fun to rank the books. I'm sitting on the floor today because I have 12 books beside me, and I didn't feel like them all toppling down from the chair. So I thought it'd be fun to tell you which series out of the three I thought was my favorite, and then rank the books. And then I feel like there's so many people telling you about the MMCs, but there's nobody talking about the FMCs. So I thought it'd be fun to rank them because I feel like you kind of rate your book based on how much you like the male main character in the story. So I feel like that kind of correlates. So I don't need to rank the book and the male main character. I'm going to do the book and the female main character because those are kind of different to me personally. But let's get into this fun video. I'm so excited. I love Elsie. If you have not read the Elsieverse yet, please do. This is going to be pretty spoiler free. I'm really just going to tell you which ones were my favorite and go from there. So my mom actually has one of my books, and it's Flawless, which is the 5th book in the Chestnut Spring series, but definitely think the Chestnut Spring series is my absolute favorite. This is Elsie's 2nd series that she wrote, and 4 out of 5 of these are in my top 5. Yeah, 4 out of 5 of these are in my top 5. So obviously that warrants this being my favorite Elsieverse of all. I think if you haven't read them yet, then start with the first series, which is probably my least favorite series, but I still really liked it. It's the Gold Rush Ranch series. I really loved 2 of these books and really didn't love the other 2. So that's why I think start with this because it's still good. It's just not her best, which makes sense because this is her first series. And the first 2 books she wrote, these are definitely out of order, but the first 2 books she wrote were my 2 least favorite, and then the other 2 were in my top, one of my favorite books. What is it? A False Start. This is one of my favorite books. So start with that one. So that way it can only get better from there, you know? And then this is a top contender with the Chestnut Spring series because I have loved every one of these books. I don't think I gave any of these books below a 4.5, if that tells you anything. And I did give one of the Chestnut Springs books below a 4.5. But the only reason it is above the what series is this? Rose Hill series is because this Rose Hill series is not completed yet. There's still one more book coming out, I think at the end of this year. I'm just not sure how much I'm going to love it. So, we'll see where that book places the Rose Hill series for me. It still probably will be number 2, just because I don't think I'm going to like the last book. But I'm going to read it, but I don't think I'm going to like it. So, Chestnut Spring series will always reign supreme. Okay, now that we've got this series out of the way, let's start ranking the books individually, which means therefore ranking the MMCs. First off, we're gonna start from worst to best. My least favorite book, therefore my least favorite MMC in the whole series, is Off to the Races. This follows Vaughn and Billy. I'm just not a big fan of douchey MMCs, and he was kind of rude. But I really liked Billy, which is the MMC. So I don't know. I did not like Vaughn. He was not memorable. The book was just okay. Not my favorite. And then we have Flawless, which is Summer and Rhett. And this is from the Chestnut Spring series. And this is the first book in the Chestnut Spring series. I did not like Summer, did not like Rhett. But I liked the story more because you still see all of the other characters from the Chestnut Spring series. So that's why it wasn't last on my list. But I have really no good things to say about this book. So there's that. Then we have a photo finish, and this follows Cole and Violet. Cole is Vaughn's brother. And so I knew that there was going to be similarities with the trauma there. But he was just as rude as Vaughn. Did not enjoy that at all. I did not enjoy Cole's poor me attitude, so that excuses my actions. I liked Violet because I read Chestnut Spring series first, so I knew who Violet was. And so it was kind of fun to get to see a character that I already knew. I wish she was more outspoken, but if you've read the books, you know Billy helps her out of her shell. I thought the storyline in this one was fun because they met in a very unconventional way online, and they talked online for a year beforehand, which I thought was fun because me and my husband met online the same way. I just wish that I liked Cole more, because then I feel like I would have loved the story more. Now we're getting into the ones that I have just loved, that I loved. The FMC, and I love the MMC, and I love the story. I just had to rank them. So number 9 is Heartless with Bo and Bailey.
Yes, I know, I said Heartless instead of Hopeless. My brain was obviously not working.
This is an age gap, a fake engagement that turns into a real engagement. A lot of people hate on this book, but I really like it. I love Bo. I love how he takes care of her and protects her. I did not love the virgin aspect of that. I'm just not a big fan of that in books, where especially age gap books. And I think he's 35 and she's 22, which, I mean, I don't mind that in an age gap, but like throwing the virgin trope in is just not my favorite. So that is the only kind of hiccup with this book. But overall, I really loved the story, and I loved how she helped bring him back from like PTSD. He had just come home from being injured in war, and so she really helped him through that, and I loved all that. Like I said, the only little nitpicky thing was the virgin trope, but it wasn't done badly. So then I might get some hate for this. Number 8, Wild Love with Ford and Rosie. I loved Ford, didn't love Rosie. Rosie was just not memorable for me, but I eat up every time a billionaire romance, and that is what this was. This series is not as like cowboy as Elsie's 2 other series, because the second book is, but the first and third book were not. Ford has a record label, which I think was fun. And then Rosie needed a job, and Rosie is Weston, who is in the next book, the MMC in the next book, Weston Belmont. Whew. Okay, anyways. Rosie is Weston's sister. And so therefore this is like a best friend's little sister, and he had a crush on her when she was younger. She had a crush on him. Nothing transpired. So it was kind of like a kind of childhood friends to lovers type book, which I also love. I just loved this world. Ford ends up having a daughter he didn't know about. It was a super fun read. Really enjoyed this one. And yeah, Ford. I liked Ford. Number 7 is The Frontrunner. This is Stefan and Mira's story, which I did not think that I was gonna like Stefan, because in the first 2 books he's portrayed as the bad guy, as like the villain of the book. But then you get his book and his side of the story, and he ends up being like one of the sweetest males like in the whole entire Elsieverse. I absolutely adored this book. This is kind of like a Black Cat Golden Retriever book, where she is very closed off and does not want him, but he just pursues her so well. I ate this book up, and I'm so happy I ended up loving Stefan. I did not want to read it because I did not think I was going to like him. And I was like, why did she write a book about him? But I'm happy I read it. Okay, number 6 is Griffin and Nadia, A False Start. Now, Nadia is Stefan's little sister. This is another age gap book. How old is she? There's a 14-year age gap. Elsie loves her age gaps now. I really liked Nadia. Nadia is one of my favorite FMCs because of all she went through, and things we went through were kind of similar, so her story really resonated with me. And maybe that's why I liked Griffin so much, is because of how she cared for her, took care of her. like showed her constantly that he wanted her. But I also loved his story and his redemption arc, because he was a injured football player who only cared about himself, but after his injury he developed a stutter. And I don't know why, that is just like the sweetest thing to me, that this grown man like has a stutter, but the only person he does not stutter around is his parents and Nadia. And everybody thinks he's just the rudest person in the world because he does not talk, but it's because he's embarrassed of his stutter. And she's just like this bull that bulldozes her way through and breaks through all of his barriers, and he freaking buys her a horse when she learned that this horse was gonna die, and built her a horse rescue. Like, I just cannot with this man, and I loved this book. Number 5 is Wildside, and this is Reese and Tabitha. I am obsessed with wrestling. My husband loves wrestling. So I had an idea of Roman Reigns when I went in. If you do not know who Roman Reigns is, I'm going to put a little picture right here. And that is who Reese is based off of. And so I loved it, ate it up. I have been obsessed with Roman Reigns long before this book came out. So whenever this book came out, I was like absolutely reading that and devouring it. I also loved the story and how they kind of both hated each other in the beginning. It was very enemies to lovers. And Tabitha got custody of her sister's son whenever she unexpectedly passed away. But Reese was actually her sister's neighbor, so also helped take care of the son. And so when Tabitha's sister left custody to Reese, Tabby is just like this very strong-willed woman and fought it. So they ended up in an arranged marriage, which I also love. The fake dating thing. So this book just checked so many boxes, and I feel like not as many people love this book, but this is one of my favorites. Okay, coming in at number 4 is Jasper and Salome with Powerless. This is also different from the cowboy romances because Jasper is a hockey player. I don't know, I just love hockey. I love a hockey man, and so this one was perfect. Jasper, Crawl to Me, Gervais, however you say his last name, Crawl to Me, was that man in this book. And this was a friends to lovers, like childhood friends to lovers book. I also love this one because it's her whole entire life like falls apart the day of her wedding, where she was supposed to marry someone else who she did not want to marry, but she's a people pleaser and was trying to like please her parents. This was like, I think, an arranged marriage, like by her parents. She did not want to do it, left him the day of the wedding. Jasper swoops in to save her. They go on this road trip, and on said road trip things go down. Yeah, you should I love this book. The last 3 were very hard for me to choose between. Like, very hard for me to choose between because I love them all so much. So when I say these 3 men are separated by like this much, like they're all 3 worthy of the number 1 spot. So coming in at number 3 is Theo with Reckless. I know Theo deserves the number 1 spot, but the other 2 were just like, Theo's redemption arc story is one of the best. Winter gets unexpectedly pregnant with his baby. Now, if you don't like the accidental pregnancy trope, this one is done very well. Very well. But Theo is like a playboy, but ever since he met Winter, it was just like, nope, that's it. You're mine. He calls her Tink. I absolutely love that nickname. So whenever he does find out that Winter had his baby, even though she tried to contact him and his agent did not tell him, he was livid. He was pissed. And he steps up to be that man in Winter's life, the baby's life. He is like such a good dad. And I loved his story arc. Like, flawless Theo to reckless Theo is just chef's kiss. 10 out of 10. And I just know that I'm gonna get hate for this. I just know that I'm gonna get hate for this. But number 2 is Daddy Cade. Hear me out. Hear me out. I love Daddy Cade. Love Daddy Cade and Willa. This man is one of the best dads. This is a single dad nanny book, which I freaking love. Willa is a wild card. I love Willa, but you never know what's gonna come out of her mouth. I love how he takes care of her. This is another age gap book. How many years is it? 13 years with Elsie and her age gaps. And Willa is Cade's little sister's best friend. Yeah, I don't know. You just have to read this book to find out about Daddy Cade, because no words I'm gonna say are gonna accurately represent him well enough. Like, you just have to read it. But Daddy Cade walked, so Weston Belmont could run. I did not love Skylar as much as I loved Willa, but Weston Belmont, the man that he is, he is also a single dad, and Skylar is one of Ford's, like, singers. So she gets off tour. He thinks she's a spoiled little brat. She ends up staying in, like, this little cabin behind his house because she needed to get away. The way they met is hilarious, and please, please, please listen to this one on audio. That might have been, like, what made it so much better for me, because Teddy Hamilton narrated it, and I giggled the whole time. Weston Belmont, the man that he is a man. Yeah. This man, like, lifts her up, celebrates her, is, like, the most shameless flirt. She is the only one who can, like, get through to his son, who does not like people but automatically loves her. Weston is literally, like, the best dad out of the whole entire series. Like, I don't know. This book was just top tier. I really think that what pushed it over the edge for me was listening to it on audio. So now that we did that, we're gonna rank our FMCs, because I feel like people leave them out a lot. I'm not really gonna get into detail about the FMCs, just because I feel like I kind of sort of explained it in the other ones. But my least favorite FMC is Summer. I just did not like her character. I don't know. It's probably what drug the book down so much for me, was Summer. Then is Bailey. I just didn't connect to her character at all. So, number 10 is Rosie. I just felt like she was kind of a spoiled brat. So, 8 is Violet. There was nothing wrong with Violet. She was just quiet and not very, like, memorable to me. The only reason I remember her is because I knew she was related to the guys from Chestnut Springs. That's about the only thing I can remember. So, that is why she is number 8. Number 7 is Sloane. I still really liked her. She just wasn't one of my favorites. But I still really enjoyed her story and how she left when she needed to, you know? Number 6 is Billy. She was very strong-willed, very stubborn. I really enjoyed her, how she made this book enjoyable. If there would have been no Billy, I would have probably DNF'd this book. So, number 5 is Mira. I loved her so much. I loved what a great friend she was. I loved that she broke down the defenses of what was supposed to be the villain of the whole entire series and saw right through that. She was very blunt. I love who she was as a person. Number 4 is Tabitha. I love how she loved so big. I love that she took care of everybody who needed anything. Like, she was there for literally every person in her life. But she needed someone to be there for her. Number 3 is Willa. She was just a fireball. Like, you had absolutely no idea what was gonna come out of this girl's mouth, and that was just so fun. Like, she was a force to be reckoned with. Let's just put it that way. I love how hard she loved Cade's son. Like, touch him and you had something coming for you. And if you've read this, like, the birthday party scene was probably one of my favorite scenes. Like, Willa is one of my faves. Number 2 is Winter. I just loved how strong Winter was because, again, this is coming from she left a hard situation and got into another hard situation, and how she handled everything was like literally perfect. She was so misunderstood, but once people started to understand her, she started to show her true self, make friends. I just loved her character arc. Like, Winter and Theo's character arcs were both amazing. And my favorite FMC was Nadia. Like I said, I think it's just because I related so much to Nadia and her story. So I kind of saw me in this book, and I related to this book so much. So that's probably why Nadia is my number 1. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really hope you pick one of these series and read it if you have not. If we ranked any of them the same, let me know. And I'll chat with you guys in the next video. Bye.